Let's just jump right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're breaking down a digital marketing strategy that's been making some serious waves online. You've probably heard the whispers and the debates about it. It's called the top G traffic method. Now, our goal today is simple. We're going to strip away all the marketing fluff, look directly at the source material, and figure out the exact mechanics of what the creators, James Renouf and Max Gerstenmaier, are actually proposing here. If you're someone who's ever felt totally burned out by the endless grind of creating content, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this one. I want you to start by completely hitting reset on everything you thought you knew about building attention on the internet, right? Because we're constantly told that to succeed, you literally have to build an audience from absolute zero. But what if this secret to online traffic actually wasn't creating it, but just redirecting it? What if all that attention you desperately need already exists out there and you just need to figure out how to stand right in front of it?
Think about the traditional approach for a second. It's kind of like a solitary person struggling to push this massive, heavy boulder up a steep, dark hill. It represents that grueling, exhausting reality of trying to get views from scratch. You're constantly fighting the algorithms, begging people to notice you. But then, look at the alternative. It's like effortlessly surfing this massive, glowing, fast-moving wave of likes and attention straight to your digital storefront. This is the exact contrast the creators are using to argue that the old way of making content is just dead, and intercepting an existing flow of traffic, well, that's the future.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down today. 1. The traffic generation trap. 2. The case study awakening. 3. The top G method. 4. Redirecting the flow. And finally, 5. Balancing those massive claims with the actual legal disclaimers. Let's get into it.
Starting right off with Section 1, the traffic generation trap.
According to James and Max, there was a very specific reason why, like 99% of people, failed to make a single dime online, and it comes down to focus. The source material takes a hard swing at traditional business advice. They argue that beginners get stuck because they think they have to master this super complex ecosystem. You know the drill. The old way says you need to build a massive audience, create your own killer product, constantly show your face on camera, and somehow manage all these complicated tech funnels. It's exhausting just thinking about it, right? The creators argue this is a trap that burns people out before they even launch. In stark contrast, they claim their top G way just bypasses the whole shebang. The sales copy is super explicit here. No audience needed, no product creation, no content creation, zero tech skills, and you don't even have to show your face. It is a really bold premise, basically removing every single traditional barrier to entry.
Moving on to Section 2, the case study awakening, the Andrew Tate effect. Now, the source material actually points to the massive viral explosion of Andrew Tate as their big aha moment. But just to be super clear here, this strategy isn't about him or his personality at all. It's entirely about the raw mechanics of his reach. James and Max realized the real power wasn't coming from one central account. It was decentralized. They were watching this massive, organic traffic machine where everyday people were constantly reposting, reacting to, and debating the content. It was pushing one single message from literally 1,000 different directions. The big takeaway for the creators was that the people succeeding weren't the ones making the original videos. They were the ones capturing that secondary movement.
Which brings us to Section 3, the top G method, or as we can call it, intercepting momentum. The entire strategy really hinges on this concept they call the second wave of traffic. So their philosophy goes like this. The first wave is the original creator. That person has to do all the heavy lifting, right? They build the following, they post every single day, and they have to magically generate initial views from zero. But the second wave? Well, that's where this method supposedly steps in. The goal is to find a digital asset that's already getting massive attention, intercept that specific momentum, and create your own version of it so you can capture a slice of that existing audience. The whole game, as they put it, becomes getting in front of the traffic instead of trying to manually create it.
Let's actually look at how they show this concept in action using their own examples. Take this digital asset, which, by the way, they openly admit they had nothing to do with creating. It's a video about climbing a dangerous mountain that's sitting at a staggering 18.7 million views. That is the first wave. By intercepting that traffic with their own version, they claim they successfully pulled over 53,000 views straight to their own links. So they didn't have to spend years building up the 2.4 million followers that original account had, but they still managed to grab tens of thousands of views directly for themselves.
The authors distill this whole thing down into a highly simplified 4-step process. Step 1, go through their quick training. Step 2, choose a destination for your traffic. Step 3, launch that first traffic push using their interception methods. And Step 4, sit back and see the results come in. They claim this is such a simple process that you can use it to send traffic to literally any link, and they say it all takes less than 15 minutes of actual work.
All right, Section 4, redirecting the flow. Let's talk about where to actually send all this attention.
Because that's the big question, right? Once you successfully intercept all this moving attention, where do you actually point it? Well, their visual assets map out the entire ecosystem, and you'll see they place traffic dead center on the board. The fundamental argument of this whole explainer is pretty simple. If you control the traffic, you control the game. You don't even need to own the final destination. You just need to act as the bridge. Notice how the flow radiates outward from that center point to all these different endpoints. It really represents the immense versatility you have when you control a localized stream of traffic.
So what exactly are those endpoints? The creators list off several specific destinations that they personally use. They send this intercepted traffic to affiliate offers, meaning they're just selling someone else's product for a commission. They send it to school communities to build up memberships. They direct it toward digital products, coaching funnels, AI tools, and all sorts of other business opportunities. And because this method doesn't rely on you having a specific personal brand, the traffic can theoretically be pointed at whatever niche or product happens to be converting the best on any given day. Pretty wild, right?
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Claims and Disclaimers. Time to balance the promises with reality. As always, we have to look at the full picture here. If you read through the source material, there's one super specific metric that just keeps getting repeated over and over again to grab your attention. 921. The creators claim that their simple 15-minute method triggers an average of 921 fresh buyer clicks per day to virtually any link they want to promote. I mean, that is a highly specific, very bold claim designed to showcase massive, immediate results, all without needing a pre-existing audience.
And to back this up, they actually provide dashboard proof. It shows exactly 921 hops, which, if you don't know, is just affiliate marketing terminology for clicks, and that resulted in 145 sales. The source material is totally packed with these types of quick win anecdotes. For example, they highlight this one moment where Max supposedly made $895 in just 14 minutes on his very first attempt using this redirected traffic strategy.
Okay, but here is the crucial point. What happens when we scroll all the way down to the very bottom of the page? Well, the liability disclaimer paints a much more grounded picture. I'm going to quote directly from the fine print here. We make absolutely no guarantees regarding income as a result of applying this information. They explicitly spell out that results depend on variables completely beyond their control, like marketplace conditions and just your own individual experience. Furthermore, they note that the examples they use are, quote, exceptional results and don't apply to the average purchaser. They even state that you basically agree their content is to be considered for entertainment purposes only. So it is absolutely vital to recognize the stark contrast here between those front-end marketing claims of instant daily buyer clicks and the back-end legal reality that success is never guaranteed in online business. And that pretty much brings our analysis of the top G traffic method to a close. We've unpacked their argument against traditional audience building, we've explored the mechanics of intercepting that second wave of viral attention, and we've weighed their marketing hype directly against their legal disclaimers. It leaves us with a genuinely fascinating, provocative question to ponder as we navigate this crazy digital landscape. In an internet completely driven by ever-changing algorithms, will you continue to exhaust yourself trying to create the way from nothing, or will you find a way to simply stand up and surf it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning out there, and I will see you next time.